Hey guys, does anyone want to play Overwatch on company time? Yeah. Welcome to Technically Speaking. Today we're going to be looking at the Chillblast Fnatic Flash Gaming Laptop. It's quite unassuming on the outside. We're going to put it through its paces and see what it's like on the inside. So normally this is the part of the show where we unbox the laptop. However, the postman appears to have played football with this one. So Louise, catch!
Got it.
Excellent! Okay, the best part of opening any laptop, taking off the plastic.
Oh, you can't beat that. It's like ASMR.
The Chillblast Fnatic Flash Gaming Laptop is pretty sleek, pretty simple in its design. It's got the silver styling with a nice polished edge around here. We've got the Fnatic logo in the middle there, and it's just kind of nice and stylish. It doesn't have a lot of those really loud bells and whistles that we think of with gaming laptops. It has, however, got this nice wedge design tapered off there that I guess you could use to cut some cheese or bread or something with. It's pretty sharp looking there. It's got all of the normal ports you would expect. It's got two USB ports, it's got two USB-C ports, it's got a card reader, it's got an HDMI out port there, and it's got this Kensington lock port, which, I mean, I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't spotted it on the specifications, but effectively means you can buy a fancy lock that will lock it to a table. I'm not sure how many of you will use that, but I guess it's nice to know it's secure. So the Chillblast laptop is quite a lot lighter than a lot of gaming laptops. However, how does it compare to your average MacBook? Well, it's actually a tiny bit lighter, even though it's quite significantly larger. This one has a 13-inch screen, and this has a 16-inch screen for about the same weight. And that screen has a 1920 by 1200 resolution. It's full HD, it's got 165 Hz refresh rate, it has 100% sRGB color reproduction as well. So it's a very snappy looking screen in this new slightly taller resolution. And all of that makes this screen really, really good for gaming on the go. It has 500 nits, which I normally think of as something that run around your hair. However, in this case, it's levels brightness for the screen, which means that whether you are outside in a really bright light situation or somewhere inside in a darker light, you're still going to get a really clear picture. The laptop comes with a precision keyboard with a travel distance of just 1.2 millimeters on the keys. They're white backlit, so again, not all of that RGB, but a reasonable amount of precision. And it has a gesture-driven touchpad. I've just noticed I haven't taken this piece of plastic off. Please bear with me, this is very important. Ah yes. A gesture-driven precision touchpad here as well. As you'd expect on a slimline laptop, it has a headphone and microphone dual port on this, and it's also got two 2-watt Realtek speakers here as well, for if you want to listen to your music out loud. Snuck away at the top here, we have an HD webcam with another piece of plastic. Hang on, it's a fiddly one. This machine packs a reasonable amount of power under the hood. It's got an Intel 12th generation i7-12700H processor, 14 cores, 6 performance ones and 8 efficient ones. That's basically very technical speak for this plays games and does editing and things very well. Being a laptop aimed at gaming, this has a dedicated graphics card. Our model here has the 3070 Ti, but they do go up to the NVIDIA GeForce 3080 series as well. Storage-wise, this has M.2 drives, and I say drives because it actually has a second slot in here. Our one comes with a terabyte built in, but you can buy them from half a terabyte up to 2 terabyte in this range, and you can expand them using the second slot. So if you want to add more games to this, there's plenty of opportunity to do so. When it comes to RAM, our model's got 16 gig built in. You can get these off the shelf up to 32. However, they're expandable up to 64 gig. You will need to replace both the sticks of RAM in order to do that. So if you can afford the one with the higher amount of RAM from the start, probably would recommend that. Because it's got quite a slimline design on it, the vents for all the heat are all underneath at the back here. Now this has quite a clever design with 4 heat pipes that are channeling all of that energy away from things like your CPU and your GPU when you're gaming to keep all of those components pretty cool. So this range retails for just over £1,500 up to just over £2,300, depending on what specs you're going to go for. But you can sometimes get these on some sales and some good offers, so do check out the sites. So that's quite a lot about the specification, the numbers, but what's this actually like to game on? I think we should find out. So So to give it a quick test run, I've loaded up Overwatch 2, as that's a game that a lot of you might be playing, and we're just going to go into a quick training practice round, just so we can concentrate on what the screen looks like. Okay, so we've loaded up a quick game, and you can already see that this screen is really rich in the colours. It's got a really nice crisp look to it. Obviously I'm using a separate mouse for this. As nice as any touchpad is, it's not going to be the same as playing with an actual gaming mouse. But the keys feel pretty nice. They feel quite responsive. I'm not pushing anything, I'm just having a nice stroll down this boulevard. It's a very highly rendered, nicely detailed boulevard. I like the nice leaves falling off the trees here. It'd be quite chill if people weren't trying to kill me. The refresh rate seems to be holding up pretty well. I'm not seeing anything on this that would cause me concern about using it as a gaming screen. Normally I PC game on a desktop rather than a laptop, so I'm used to a very different keyboard style than this, but it seems pretty responsive, it seems pretty fast. I can definitely see this being something you can play on if you're on a train or in transit. I would probably still go for a separate gaming keyboard if I was going to use this as my main gaming machine. It's got a nice screen, it's better than I thought it would be, to be honest. So I'm not particularly an Overwatch player, I've just been enjoying the lovely scenery between the times I got shot there, but we do have some pretty pro players here in the office. I think we should grab some of them and see what they make of it. So we're going to need a few proper Overwatch players to test this laptop properly. Let me see if I can find anyone in the office. Hey guys, does anyone want to play Overwatch on company time? Yeah! Nice, okay. And I have one victim/volunteer over here. We have Luca.
Hello.
You're representing me in this game.
Okay, good.
Okay, so just so you know, my honour's at stake.
I'll do the best I can.
Whilst you're playing this game for my honour, I'm also going to basically ask you questions about the laptop, just to make it easy for you.
Sure. Just from the off, I was like, it feels like it's quite narrow, if you know what I mean? So I was like worried that I'm going to push other buttons, but so far so good. We're not doing that yet.
Yeah, they're quite a shallow key press, so at least they're quite quick to respond.
Oh yeah, they are, definitely.
I can hear the fans on this are starting to kind of wake up a bit now as well.
I won't lie, it's a little loud. And I've got headphones on as well, and I can actually still hear the fans going. Yeah, the pressing shift it does feel a little bit like my finger would be normally like further out, my little finger to press shift.
How do you feel about the screen resolution?
No, it's great. It looks great. It looks really, really good. It's nice and clear, crystal clear actually.
So do you normally play on a desktop?
I always feel like people say it's better to just play games on a desktop. But I mean, in this case, this is all running great. I can also feel the heat coming from the keyboard, so my hand is now getting a little bit sweaty.
I mean, we have got it on a table, maybe if you had it on a riser or something, because the fans are obviously all pointed straight down out the bottom of this, so maybe that would make a difference with it.
100% it would. Yeah, I actually think it would, definitely. Okay, so we lost and I didn't kill anyone. That's embarrassing.
So overall, you think you could get used to a keyboard like this?
I could, yeah, definitely. I think it would help if I wasn't obviously standing, like sitting would be a bit better as well, just to, my hands feel like they're quite like that at the moment. It is hot, the fan is loud.
Yeah.
I think that's the overall thing for me. Other than that, it's really comfortable. It's a small, like quite a narrow keyboard, but it doesn't feel like I'm pushing too many other buttons.
It's not too cramped, yeah. There's still a reasonable space between each key, which I think stops those mispresses a little bit.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, we made you do it in the sort of hardest challenge way physically possible, I feel. So I think you did good.
Thank you. Even though I got no kills?
Yeah, I was just trying to gloss over that for you, but yeah. So gaming is pretty much synonymous with streaming nowadays on services like Twitch, and that's something I do myself. So we're going to take a quick look at how easy it would be to set up this laptop as a streaming rig. So one of the main things you'd need for streaming would be OBS Studio, which is an open source system that basically pretty much everyone uses in order to put their camera, their gameplay and everything together in order to broadcast it out for everybody to watch and laugh at all the times I die in Overwatch. So this starts off with a very simple interface, and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you like. We're going to try and use some of the things built into the laptop. You can see already it's picking up the microphone there, and it will be picking up the desktop audio as well. So let's see if we can natively add the camera video capture device. So we're hoping that I will be able to find, there we go, worked straight away. There's our HD webcam with a not particularly flattering angle of the ceiling of our spaceship here. So the next thing you'd probably add would be some gameplay footage. Let's see if we can get Aha, Overwatch EXE. Let's see if we can pull Overwatch in. There we go. Let's put that behind me. So obviously this is a pretty basic starting point. We have a camera, we have some gameplay footage. You could add as many extra overlays, graphics, animation, branding and things that you wanted as additional layers into the scenes in OBS there. And this machine could probably take a reasonable amount of that thrown at it all in one go because of the power it's got under the hood. If I was going to be running a stream for this, I'd probably be using that HDMI output to put a second screen on here, because otherwise you can only look at the game rather than the game and your setup to know, even just if your CPU is doing okay, whether or not the stream is still live, and see any chat and people interacting with you. You have only got 2 USB ports and 2 USB-Cs, so you may need to think about also adding an expansion or something to there with a hub in order to add a lot of the peripherals that we use for streaming. But as a general starting point, it does seem able to cope with running these things at the same time. So final thoughts on this laptop. The screen really impressed me. I was pleasantly surprised by how vibrant it was and how good that resolution really was, especially when playing something quite demanding like a AAA title. It really does pack a reasonable punch, and I think the main selling point for a lot of people for this one is going to be that it doesn't look like a gaming laptop. It isn't covered in RGB, it doesn't have super big clacky keyboards or too shouty logos and colours all over it. Without necessarily screaming you have a very expensive piece of kit with you, then this is actually going to do you pretty well. Thank you for joining us today on Technically Speaking. We'll be back with more tech in the next episode. If you'd like to keep in touch with us in the meantime, please follow GINX TV on all social medias. Let us know if you're going to pick up one of these for yourself.